political science and became a graduate in 2008 at the age of over 40. He explained that before entering politics, he had studied the agendas of multiple parties. Shivakumar highlighted that even as a student leader, he named his theatre after former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. He reaffirmed that his loyalty and commitment to the Congress family remain unquestionable.
The DK Shivakumar's credibility. What is your message to them? Once again, Sunere.
My message to all of them, if they question my credibility, they are working against their conscience. They doesn't know my blood, my history. Those who doesn't know, Baba Sahib Ambedkar tells, if you forget the history, you can't do anything. So one who wants to do in public life should know the history and the background. My history is a very big history in the Congress party. For their happiness, they can speak. All it will be without fruits. I once again would like to reiterate, I am a political science candidate. I have been studied political science at the age of 40 plus. 2008 I became a graduate. I was not a graduate. But before joining politics, I have just taken the leaf of all political parties and tried to know their internal, whatever their agendas are.
You have clearly said, sir, even before that, you are a born congressman. And questioning your credibility as a congressman.
Say, I named my theatre after Indira Gandhi when I was a student leader. Indira Gandhi. My commitment to the family is undoubted.
RSS ಚಡ್ಡಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸದಾ ವತ್ಸಲೆ ಮಾತೃಭೂಮಿ
ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರೇ
ಹಿಂದೂ ಭೂಮಿ ಸುಗಮ್ ವರ್ಧಿತೋಹಂ ಮಹಾಮಂಗಲೆ
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಡತಿನ ತೆಗೆದಾಕಿಸ್ಬೇಡ್ರಿ
ಚರ್ಚೆ ಬೇಡ ಅದನ್ನ.
In Assam, the All Assam Goria Moria Deshid Dia Parishad convened a seminar and press conference along with several indigenous ethnic organizations. The gathering focused on the challenges confronting indigenous communities in the state. The meeting brought together major student and community bodies, including the Thai Ahom Students Union, Moran Students Union, Motok Yuba Chadra Parishad, Coach Raj Pongshi Students Union, All Assam Gorkha Sanmilan and the Tiwa Students Union. Speaking to the media, Nurul Haq, president of the All Assam Goria Moria Deshi National Council, underlined that the identity crisis of the community is often misinterpreted as being linked to migrants from Bangladesh. He asserted that the Goria Moria Deshi people are indigenous sons of the soil of Assam and deserve separate recognition as a distinct indigenous group. Haq emphasized that the problems of the community have been wrongly conflated with those of Muslims of Bangladeshi origin. He said that after wide-ranging consultations with other indigenous groups, the Parishad has decided to demand a separate constitutional identity. Recognition from the government, he stated, remains their foremost demand. He further clarified that the Goria Moria Deshi community should not be equated with outsiders. He urged the government to protect Assam from demographic changes driven by illegal migration. Haq stressed that the indigenous Assamese Muslims, including his community, have consistently upheld the principles of the Assam Accord and rejected external influences. The Parishad, along with allied organizations, resolved to continue the movement for constitutional recognition and organizational status for the Goria Moria Deshi community.
देसी इधर का भूमिपुत्र है, सन ऑफ द सॉइल, उन लोगों का जो प्रॉब्लम है असम में, ये प्रॉब्लम मतलब जो बांग्लादेश से प्रव्रजित मुसलमान है उसके लिए ज़्यादा मतलब ये प्रॉब्लम हुआ है। तो ये प्रॉब्लम डिस्कस करने के लिए हम जो इधर का एथनिक ग्रुप है, मरान, मतब, ताया होम ट्राइबल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, तिवा, गोरखा, कोच राजवंशी और दो चार ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, उनसे हम एक साथ बैठ के वो हमारा प्रॉब्लम के लिए आज बैठा हुआ था। तो तो आज बैठने का बाद डिसीजन हुआ है कि गोरिया मोरिया डिस्ट्रिक्ट को मतलब अलग किया जाए। अलग करने के लिए उसको सेंसस होना जरूरी है अलग से। तो सेंसस करने का एकजुट होके वो हम दाबी किया है सरकार से, मतलब डिमांड किया है। वही हमारा मेन डिमांड है। 2 नंबर में जो बात ये है कि जो गोरिया मोरिया देसी लोगों को उच्छेद किया गया है तो उसको संस्थापन अभी तक नहीं मिल रहा है, तो उसको जल्द से जल्द संस्थापन देना चाहिए। वही हमारा डिमांड है। बांग्लादेश तो असम में कैसे रहेगा, रहने के सवाल ही नहीं। आसामी लोग, कास्ट कम्युनिटी सब ने वो असम आंदोलन किया है, हम लोगों ने भी किया है। जो बांग्लादेशी है, हिंदू हो या मुसलमान हो, उसको असम से जाना चाहिए। इधर में कोई धर्म का इश्यू नहीं। ये कोई पॉलिटिकल पार्टी हो या कोई हो, पॉलिटिकल एजेंडा हो या बाहर से आने आके कुछ बोल जाएगा, इससे असमिया लोगों का कोई मतलब नहीं है। असमिया जो इधर का इंडिजिनियस पीपल है, वो लोग चाहता है कि बांग्लादेशी को इधर से हटाना चाहिए। इसके लिए जो करना है गवर्नमेंट को करना है, और हम लोग भी इसीलिए इसको मतलब इसलिए आंदोलन किया था, असम आंदोलन। अभी भी उसके लिए हम आंदोलन करेंगे। तो उन लोगों का बात से हमारा कोई बात नहीं है, उन लोगों का बात नहीं मानता है असमीज मुस्लिम लोग। गोरिया मोरिया देसी लोग उन लोगों को बात नहीं मानता है। दिल्ली वाला मुसलमान का बात नहीं सुनता है।
In Washington, US President Donald Trump has again claimed that he directly intervened to prevent a potential nuclear clash between India and Pakistan earlier this year. Speaking at a cabinet meeting in the White House, Trump said he held separate talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Pakistan's leadership, warning that continued hostilities would block trade deals. Trump explained that he told Pakistan he would not move forward on trade and would instead impose heavy tariffs if the conflict escalated. He said the threat of a nuclear war forced both sides to step back. According to him, the situation was settled within 5 hours. The president also repeated his assertion that 7 or more fighter jets were shot down during the hostilities. He claimed that official reports understated that the number of aircraft lost. Trump further stated that he has stopped multiple wars and described the India-Pakistan standoff as one that could have reached the next level of nuclear war. He said he used trade leverage to defuse the situation and promised to intervene again if tensions return.
I want to see that deal end. It's very serious what I have in mind if I have to do it, but I want to see it end. I think that in many ways he's there. Sometimes he'll be there and Zelensky won't be there. You know, it's like, who do we have today? I got to get them both at the same time. But I want to have it end. We have economic sanctions. I'm talking about economic, because we're not going to get into a world war. I'll tell you what, in my opinion, if I didn't win this race, Ukraine could have ended up in a world war. We're not going to end up in a world war anymore, but it would have ended up possibly in a world war. That would have been they were ready to trot. But just like India and Pakistan, we're going to end up in a nuclear war if I didn't stop them. You know, it's sort of strange. I saw they were fighting. Then I saw 7 jets were shot down. I said, that's not good. That's a lot of jets, you know. $150 million planes were shot down. A lot of them, 7, maybe more than that. They didn't even report the real number. And I'm talking to a very terrific man, Modi of India. And I say, what's going on with you in Pakistan? Then I'm talking to Pakistan on trade. I said, what's going on with you in India? And the hatred was tremendous. Now, this has been going on for a hell of a long time, like sometimes with different names for hundreds of years. But I said, what's going on? I said, I don't want to make a trade deal. No, we want to make a trade deal. I said, no, I don't want to make a trade deal with you. You're going to have a nuclear war. You guys are going to end up in a nuclear war. And that was very important to them. I said, call me back tomorrow, but we're not going to do any deals with you, or we're going to put tariffs on you that are so high. You were there, Howard, right? Yep. You're going to put tariffs on you that was so high, I don't give a damn, your head's going to spin. You're not going to end up in a war. Within about 5 hours, it was done. was done. Now, maybe it starts again. I don't know. I don't think so, but I'll stop it if it does. We can't let these things happen. The Russia-Ukraine situation, last week, 7,012 soldiers, 7,012 soldiers died. They were Russian, they were Ukrainian, they weren't American, so a lot of people would say, what do you care? They're not American. I care. They're 12,000, over the last couple of weeks, over 12,000 people died in like in 2 weeks. You know, we're talking about crime where somebody's killed here or somebody. Think of it, you have your son leaving Russia, leaving Ukraine, their little house, wherever they live with their parents, they're waving goodbye, just like our parents would wave goodbye. And they're waving goodbye, son. And then a week later, his head's blown off in a stupid war by a drone, a whole new form of military problem. So, no, I'd like it to stop. I want to get it to stop. And it will not be a world war, but it'll be an economic war. And an economic war is going to be bad. And it's going to be bad for Russia, and I don't want that. Now, I have to also see, because not everybody, you know, Zelensky's not exactly innocent either, okay? You know. It takes two people to tango, and I say it all the time. You got to get them together. I get along with Zelensky now, but we have a much different relationship because now we're not paying any money to Ukraine. You know, stop that. We're paying money to ourselves. What's happening is NATO is buying all of the equipment and paying in full. But even with that, forget about that. I want to get it stopped because it's a lot of lives that are being lost. Every week it's 7,000, 5,000, 6,000. I get the reports, and I see battlefields. I'd rather not see them. And you know, you read about Gettysburg. You read about Gettysburg, and you see, you know, those 600,000 people. But in that war in particular was really bad, like 150,000 or something, just dead body. I'm seeing the same. I see pictures. I see satellite pictures of heads over here, arms.
Lok Sabha leader of opposition and Congress leader Rahul Gandhi, who is in Bihar for voter Adhikar Yatra, while addressing a Samajik Samvat in Madhubani, Bihar questioned Amit Shah's claim that BJP government will last for 40 to 50 years. Gandhi said, how does Shah knows that the BJP will last that long, and added that the truth has come out before the country that the BJP does vote theft.
ने बयान दिया एक बार नहीं अनेक बार कि अब बीजेपी की सरकार 40-50 साल चलेगी। हाँ, और मैं सोच रहा था कि यह व्यक्ति कैसे कह सकता है, इसको कैसे मालूम कि बीजेपी की सरकार 40-50 साल चलेगी। हम सब राजनेता हैं, जनता क्या करेगी, जनता के दिल में क्या होता है, जनता ही जानती है। तो ऐसा बयान देना कि अब हमारी सरकार 40-50 साल चलेगी, ये अजीब सा बयान है। और उस टाइम मैंने सोचा था कि इसको कैसे मालूम कि 40-50 साल के लिए सरकार चलेगी। और अब सच्चाई पूरे देश के सामने आ गई है। वो ये बात इसलिए कह सकते हैं कि वो वोट चोरी करते हैं, और ये चोरी इन्होंने अभी नहीं चालू की। मैं आपको बता रहा हूं, एक दिन ये आएगा बाहर। ये चोरी सालों से हो रही है। ये चोरी गुजरात में पहले शुरू हुई, उसके बाद 2014 में नेशनल लेवल पे आई, उसके बाद चुन चुनकर ये लोग स्टेट जीतते हैं और हरवाते हैं। और ये बात मैं नहीं कहता था क्योंकि मेरे पास सबूत नहीं था, क्योंकि मैं आमतौर से ऐसे मंच पर मैं झूठ नहीं बोलता हूं। मैं वही बोलता हूं जो सच है, जिसके बारे में मुझे पूरी जानकारी है। इसलिए मैंने बहुत सालों, मुझे लगा और आप सबको भी लगा, मुझे लगा कि कुछ ना कुछ गड़बड़ है, मगर हम जिम्मेदार राजनेता हैं, तो मैंने कहा जिस दिन तक सबूत नहीं मिलेगा उस दिन तक मैं खुलकर नहीं कहूंगा कि वोट चोरी हो रही है। और फिर क्या होता है, महाराष्ट्र और हरियाणा के चुनाव आते हैं, सबसे पहले डेट बदल देते हैं, चुनाव की डेट बदल देते हैं। जो इलेक्शन कमीशन को चुनने का तरीका है, मैं मोदी जी के साथ बैठा हूं, मैं आपको बताता हूं चुनने का क्या तरीका है। चुनने का तरीका है, प्रधानमंत्री डिसाइड करता है इलेक्शन कमिश्नर कौन बनेगा, वहां पे विपक्ष के नेता को बैठा देते हैं, वो सीधा कहते हैं भैया हमें लग रहा है कि इस आदमी को बनना चाहिए, विपक्ष का नेता रोक नहीं सकता। फिर 2023 में, भैया शांत हो जाए, 2023 में बीजेपी ने एक नया कानून बनाया। क्या था कि इलेक्शन कमिश्नर पर कोई केस नहीं लगाया जा सकता है। आप सोचिए, हिंदुस्तान के सब नागरिक पर केस लगाया जा सकता है। आप कुछ गलत करो, पुलिस आ जाएगी, एफआईआर हो जाएगा। 2023 तक इलेक्शन कमीशन और इलेक्शन कमिश्नर पर केस किया जा सकता था। 2023 में छुपे छुपे बीजेपी ने कानून बदला। नया कानून कहता है कि इलेक्शन कमिश्नर पर कोई जुडिशियल कार्रवाई नहीं की जा सकती, कोई केस नहीं लगाया जा सकता। अब आप पूछिए अपने आप से कि यह कानून क्यों बनाया गया? चोरी करवाने के लिए, कि ये लोग बिना डरे चोरी कर पाए।
Soon after the centre cleared a rupees 62,000 crore deal to buy 97 more LCA Mark 1A fighter aircraft, India is close to signing a deal of around $1 billion with the American firm General Electric GE for supplying 113 more GE 404 engines for the Indigenous combat aircraft. Indian state-owned firm Hindustan Aeronautics Limited has already inked 404 engines with the American firm for the initial 83 LCA Mark 1A fighter jets ordered by the Indian Air Force, and these 113 would be in addition to that. The negotiations are almost finalized for buying 113 more GE 404 engines from the American firm GE for the 97 LCAs. The deal is likely to be finalized by September this year. The deal is expected to help HAL to get its complete requirement of 212 GE 404 engines in continuity, avoiding any types of delays in engine supplies. The HAL is working to support the first 83 aircraft by the end of 2029 to 30 and the next batch of 97 LCA Mark 1As by 2033 to 34, they said. American GE is expected to supply 2 engines per month from now on to fulfill its commitment for the Indian program. The HAL is also negotiating a deal with GE for buying its GE 414 engines with 80% transfer of technology. In Delhi, Minister Kapil Mishra has launched a sharp attack on Aam Aadmi Party leaders alleging large-scale corruption. Speaking on civic failures, Mishra accused them of looting public funds while neglecting basic needs such as clean water, proper roads and functional hospitals. He claimed that a scam of rupees 5,000 crores took place with not a single hospital constructed despite the expenditure of huge sums. According to him, the money simply disappeared. Mishra demanded that senior leader Saurabh Bhardwaj face investigation and declared that the entire group of leaders linked to these allegations would eventually end up in Tihar jail. Drawing a parallel with the imprisonment of Arvind Kejriwal, Satyendra Jain and Manish Sisodia, Mishra alleged that the same fate awaits others in the party whom he described as part of a gang.
कि अंतिम मंजिल जेल होती है और ये सबों ने दिल्ली को लूटा। आज दिल्ली का गंदा पानी हो, टूटी सड़कें हो, बदहाल अस्पताल हो, इन सब का जिम्मेदार कौन है? यही लोग हैं। और देखो चोरी भी किसने करी, किस माहौल में करी। जहां गरीबों के अस्पताल बनाने थे 13 जगहों पे आज छापे पड़े हैं। 5000 करोड़ रुपए का इन्होंने घपला किया है। अस्पताल बनाने की जगह पे एक भी अस्पताल नहीं बना, लेकिन पैसा सारा गायब हो गया, सारा पैसा गायब हो गया। तो सारा भारद्वाज जी को जांच का सामना करना चाहिए, पूरी हिम्मत के साथ करना चाहिए। और मुझे ये लगता है कि जिस जगह पे केजरीवाल, सिसोदिया और सत्येंद्र जैन रहकर आए हैं, वहाँ पे ये पूरा गैंग तिहाड़ जेल दोबारा जाएगा, ये सुनिश्चित है। देखिए इस प्रकार के कई मामले सामने आते हैं, दुखद है, और मुझे लगता है कि कानून इन मामलों में अपना कार्य करेगा और समाज में भी ऐसे मामलों के प्रति जागृति होनी आवश्यक है।
At the third Energy Summit organized by the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, Vineet Nahata, member of the Central Board of Trustees at EBFO, emphasized the need for India to prioritize renewable energy development for future generations. Speaking as a panelist, Nahata said the summit highlighted the urgency of addressing climate change and pollution. He pointed out that the government has already taken several initiatives, including the issuance of sovereign green bonds by the Reserve Bank of India, which he described as a very interesting avenue offering significant monetary benefits and reduced interest costs. He added that while challenges such as tax benefits remain, the overall impact of green initiatives would be far-reaching, benefiting society at large. Nahata further underlined that both the Finance Ministry and the Environment Ministry have big plans to advance sustainable energy goals.
I have been invited as a panelist in the third Energy Summit organized by Indo-American Chamber of Commerce. This summit outlines the pressing need of our country to focus the attention and energy towards building the new renewable and green energy, the drawbacks and the negativities of climate change, biodiversity, etc., which is going to affect our country, is going to be really significant in future. So how we can align ourselves to be ready to give our future generation a clean world, which is an environment which is free from all pollution and the toxicities of nature, and they have the future generation has clean oxygen to breathe in. Various initiatives have been taken by the government in this regard to challenge, to fight the challenges of climate change and pollution. Now, green bonds, as you just mentioned, happens to be one of the areas where financing can be done at an interest rate which is cheaper than the normal interest rates at which the issuers of or the borrowers could have borrowed. Now, green bonds, even Reserve Bank of India issues sovereign green bonds, where it borrows at 10 to 15 basis points lower than what the normal sovereign government yield is, and various private players whose projects happen to be in consonance with or aligned with the social development goals, the SDGs, as well as the ESG parameters. They can raise funds at a cheaper rate. The lenders, they are sacrificing the interest cost just to promote the spirit of environment friendliness and climate change. This is a gesture by the lenders that this sector needs priority, it needs focus and attention, and funds should flow here so that it encourage all the stakeholders, the companies which happen to be in their respective fields, be it real estate, pharmaceutical, manufacturing, to adhere to principles and practices, the best practices of environment friendly, and they contribute to reduce the carbon footprint of the country. So green bonds happen to be a very interesting avenue. The popularity in India is slowly catching up. Several hiccups are there, or several bottlenecks are there, if they are unlocked, like the inclusion of green bonds in priority sector lending of banks, tax benefits on interest levied, and certain clawback issues are there. If these are resolved, then green bonds are going to be a phenomenal way to bring down the cost of funds of the respective corporates as well as Government of India, and give a message to the entire world that India happens to be globally eco-friendly and ESG compliant nation. Thank you. Monetary benefits, it is significant. The interest cost is going to be reduced. That is going to be a saving for the government itself and the companies. So the bottom line or the profit margins of these companies increase, which encourage them for better R&D and innovation. The consumers can be served better. The customers, they happen to be at the on a favorable, and they get a better product and service at a cheaper rate, plus the product and services are environment friendly and ESG compliant. So the entire society is going to benefit out of this. The Finance Ministry and the Environment Ministry, they are working on this. They have very big plans. India, we recently concluded G20. This was one of the key agendas which India as a nation is going to be the torch bearer. And as of now, like, India happens to be one of the countries which keeps environment friendliness and ESG as its top agenda. So there's no doubt that we are going to be the world leaders.
That's all for now. Keep watching Hornbill TV.